Wiretap. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the podcast. This feels weird. This isn't what I thought this was ever going to be. I've had this idea for Wiretap for years, probably close to like 4 years now, but this is like never what I wanted it to be. But I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. Originally, I think I wanted it to be like me and one of my friends, so like me and Dylan, or like me and Seth or something. But I kind of had a different idea in mind for that. Like it was going to be topical and like we watch like a bunch of videos and stuff, but I want to do this now because we're all super busy in our own lives. And it is incredibly hard to get one person like me to do something consistently. Like getting something consistently done myself is hard enough as it is. Getting me and Dylan or me and Seth to do something consistently, that is a whole other, it's like another level of difficulty. And just where everyone's at in our lives right now, Dylan's like 2 hours away. Seth is very busy and he's 3.5 hours away a lot of the time at home. It's just, it would not be possible. And I want to be as consistent as possible. So, it would just not, it just wouldn't be possible, you know? So, I put, what am I trying to say? I can't even talk here. I put Wiretap, the idea, on the back burner for a little bit. I wanted to do it eventually. I didn't know what it was going to be. We're here now because this is like kind of inspired by Cody Co. I didn't even know this existed, but I've liked Cody Co for a long time. And I saw the other day that he posted something about an old podcast he did. And I was like, I've never heard of this. I've liked this guy for years, and I've never heard of this podcast, Insanely Chill. But apparently back in like I think it was like 2017, he just did a podcast by himself, just talking about whatever he wanted to. And eventually, you know, he stopped doing it. I think he did it like once a week. But eventually he stopped doing it and went and did like his own other podcasting thing. And he's bringing it back now because he's got a podcasting company or a production company with like a bunch of podcasts within it. But I went back and I've been listening to Insanely Chill from so long ago. And it is so weird to hear because it's almost like just like a diary in a way of him. And it's before like his career really took off. So you get to hear like all of this stuff happening for him. And I feel like that's so cool. He talks about hitting like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then the next week he's like, all right, guys, we're almost at 200,000. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is like as he was blowing up. But anyway, listening to it, it just made me think, I really enjoy this. I want to do this myself. Let's make Wiretapped like this, where it's just whatever I want it to be, okay? And I kind of feel like, you know, I've been wanting to, that's my foot right there. I'm shooting this from across my room, and I took a sunset lamp, just shined it on me. I'm trying to make this look somewhat decent, right? But I don't know. The camera, by the way, will go off. It goes to sleep for whatever reason after like 15 minutes, which is the most annoying thing ever. So if there's any like just weird cuts in my talking, it's because of that. The camera just shut off. So there will probably be several of those. Before I go on with my point, each of these episodes, I think I want to be about an hour. It's just going to be about different things going on in my life, different things on my mind. Literally whatever. Maybe I'll have some people on here at some point. Who knows? That'd be fun. But I want to do this every week. We'll see how it goes. Gonna give it a test run. But anyway, as I was saying before, what was I saying before? Cody Co. He was blowing up, right? Oh yeah, what I want this to be. Yeah, so I think for him, I think the main thing that was inspiring me is the past couple months, I've just been turning on my camera and talking to it like as if it was a person, just to vent and I don't know, kind of like I wrote in a diary for a lot of this year and or a journal, whatever you want to call it. But I was consistently doing it from like the beginning of the year all like until maybe the summertime, about like June or July. And now I still do it, but it's not nearly as often. I used to do it like every day, and I would write like 6 pages a day. It would take me like hours to do, front and back, just writing like constantly. But you know, it took a lot of time, hurt my hand so bad. And I feel like this is just a better way to do things anyway. So maybe this could be like a visual journal in a way, just kind of talking about what's on my mind. I've just romanticized the idea of a physical journal as a book though, because I mean, what got me into that, what inspired me to start writing out my journal in the first place was Mary Shelley. I think it was Mary Shelley. Almost positive it was Mary Shelley who wrote Frankenstein, right? But yeah, I was just reading about like a lot of parts of her life and how she lost her virginity on her mother's grave. It's like a tall tale. It could be true, it could not be true. Like, I don't think no one really for sure knows, but it's definitely possible. She seemed like one of those girls who's like obsessed with death, and I don't know. It's hard to describe the feeling I got while hearing her described, but there are definitely girls that idolize her today who like keep skulls in their room and they're obsessed with death and stuff and love serial killers. She seems like that kind of girl, right? And I don't know if that's like cool or weird the way I'm describing her. I'm probably not doing it justice, but she sounded very, very cool, right? But where she lost her virginity on her mother's grave, I remember reading that it was a place. This was like an argument for how that could be valid, that she actually lost her virginity there, because she would often go there to write in her journal. I think her mom died when she was super young. And there was something about their relationship. But yeah, she would go write in her journal and get like quiet time there by her mom's grave. She liked being in graveyards a lot. That was a thing like used to describe her. But anyway, when I saw, I think, oh man, what was it? I think I saw like some of her writings from her journal, or it was like I saw like Vincent van Gogh's writings and like letters, and I was just thinking, how cool is it just to have like of these famous people just like stamps in time to the day, like they always date it. You know exactly what they were doing, what they were thinking at this time. These monumental people in history were just chilling in a graveyard, writing about what they thought, whether it was like poems or philosophy, like troubles they were having in life, complaints about things. It's just so interesting to read and like put yourself in the mindset of these people in a completely different time period, and yet they're so similar to us, right? So that's what made me start writing in my journal. And, you know, I love it. I still have it sitting over there. I still write in it. But I think back then there was like a different, it was like an art form, you know, like they write in such like eloquent cursive. And they write so eloquently, I should say, in this beautiful cursive, and it looks so beautiful. And the notebook itself is like leather bound, and it is like, it looks, you could just flip through it. It could be in another language, and you'd still love just like looking through it, right? Mine is in a 89-cent Walmart notebook. I'm writing as fast as I can. It's just a stream of consciousness of my thoughts, and I have like music, like piano music playing behind me, and the writing is sloppy. I've scribbled out like so many words, and I'm just like, I'm getting everything as much as I can out there, right? And it doesn't look pretty at all. So that was kind of turning me off of it. I was just like, this, looking back on this, it's like the writing is legible, but nobody wants to look at this. And I mean, it's not for anyone else anyway. It's for me, but it's like, it's such an eyesore. Like, I don't know. It is still very cool. I actually started writing my journal, I think like 2 or 3 days before I got COVID for the first time. Well, I've only gotten it once, so when I got COVID, but it's just interesting because I was writing in the journal every day, logging how I was feeling throughout my entire process. So that's cool to look back on and see like, okay, yeah, I was feeling this this day. This is actually where I started feeling better. Oh yeah, like to the date. And I'm writing down like my family and friends who got it and when they got it. So that is cool. But I guess the point I'm getting to is it's really cool having that journal and like that physical, like the pages you can turn, and I'm still gonna do that. But I think the future, it sounds so pretentious, but the future is like this, you know, this like visual media. Wouldn't it be so much cooler if I could see Mary Shelley talking to me like this, or Vincent van Gogh talking to me like this, not bound by how fast they can write, right? Because that was one thing I noticed, is I would lose thoughts sometimes. I'd have to make notes on my phone because new thoughts would keep coming up, and I'd go on tangents writing, and I lose my train of thought. And this way, I'm speaking. So like the pace of getting your thoughts out there is like writing, speaking, thinking, right? So I'm just advancing how fast I can get thoughts out there, right? So does this even make any fucking sense? I don't know. But I just think this will be much cooler than having a journal. I'm still going to journal, but this is essentially a journal. Have a list of things to potentially talk about that I've been thinking about, right? I have this problem where I will get to, whether it's like a artist or a podcaster or a musician, I will get so into them. I will love their shit so much that I will just listen, like let's say it's a musician, I will listen to them constantly for years. Like it's not a short-lived obsession. It's years worth of dedication and research and listening to them and all, not really only them, but almost exclusively them. And I want to be them. Like I'll go a step further. I want to be better than them, right? That's how I am with like Paul McCartney right now. I feel like that's such a cliche thing. There's so many old dudes out there that have tried to be Paul McCartney for their whole lives, but it's like it's my ego, I guess. I try to be humble when I can, but there's still in my mind this obsession with like the Beatles, and I've liked them for years now, and I'm like, I am so inspired by Paul McCartney that I want to be him. Better yet, I want to try to shoot for the stars and be better than Paul McCartney. I know, like, I'm talking to myself, I'm saying this, but like I know that is impossible. Like, not to get into detail too much, but like the circumstances that led to them getting famous and being as famous as they were, that will just never happen again. But it's also like, you know, what are the odds of gaining any kind of fan base or notoriety as a musician anyway? It takes so much luck and skill that I don't have, so it's like that will never happen anyway. But still, that's in my mind all the time. I don't know what it is, but it's like it is what drives me to do stuff, to make music constantly. Is like at the time that the Beatles were together, and then even after they broke up, Paul McCartney was like, and the Beatles were putting out albums, like sometimes 2 albums a year that were legendary albums, right? At the very least, it was just 1 album a year, and that was only because of like they put out an album in July, so it's like there wasn't a lot of time on the other end of that to write another album. Does that make sense? Like, even though they put out an album out in July and there was never another album that year, there was still another one in like January of the next year. It's something crazy like that. And I don't know how they did it, but it's like there's like a bug in my brain that's like, you have to do that. You have to put out legendary stuff as frequently as you can. You don't have enough time in your lifetime to put out everything you want to do. So you have to get rolling now, because like when you get a job, you're not going to be able to do this as much. You have to do as much as you can now. There are benefits to that, but it's like that stresses me out so much, and I can't quiet that down. But anyway, to come back to the main point of me getting like obsessed with people, that's kind of how I am with Cody Co right now, because I listen to his podcast with Noel Miller, Tiny Meat Gang, and it's not like a weird obsession. It's more of just like I admire what he's done and all he's accomplished in all of this time, and I'm like taking in his content, like as much of it as I can, honestly, except for, okay, podcast wise, I'm taking in like all of his content, and it's just inspiring to me to the point that like I want to do that. Now, I'm hoping it's not coming off that way with like this. Oh man, my computer's shutting down. Anyway, I'm hoping it's not seeming like I'm trying to rip him off. It's strictly more of like, I saw that podcast he did and I was like, okay, he did it and I really like this. So this idea for Wiretap, this is confirmation that it's not stupid, right? That this isn't just a waste of time, because I've listened to like 10 episodes of his old podcast and it's sick. So I'm going to do it too. I can't tell if that's still recording. First time that happened there. Get ready for it to happen some more. I saw the numbers at the top turn red and I was like, why is that happening? I've never noticed that before, but I guess that happens when it's about to turn off. And now I've lost my train of thought. This is great. This is fantastic. But anyway, inspired by Cody Co. That's what this is. And I hope, you know, eventually it'll become more of my own thing, I think. It's that way with all of art, you know? Like, you start out ripping someone off, and then you turn it into your own thing. And, I mean, that's how I do so much of my music. And this is odd for me as well. Like, I'm talking like I'm some professional on music, but I'm really trying to get in the mindset of telling myself, okay, I've been doing music for 10 plus years now, for like 12 years now. Maybe even like closer to 14. I don't know when I officially started making music, but like, I need to start admitting that I really am, I mean, I wouldn't say professional, but it's like, I've got a lot of experience doing music shit, you know? So it's like, there's quite a bit of credibility there, I would say. This could be, could be bragging so hard about myself and not realize it. I hope it doesn't come off that way, but I don't know. That's a lot of time, right? Am I crazy? I feel like I've got a lot of experience writing stuff and recording stuff. So anyway, that's how it is with. I need to try and be more cohesive with what I'm talking about so I don't lose my train of thought. But that's how it is with any art, and that's what I do with my music. Is I'll start off, there will be a song that I love, and I will take just like, for example, maybe it's like the drum beat. I'll just make the drum beat, loop it for like 20 minutes, and I'll just play my own thing over it, experiment with some stuff, and then I'm like, oh wait, that works really well with that drum beat, and then I'll build that, and I'll just slowly do that, building things on top of it. And it all came from me ripping off that first drum track, which, I mean, most of the time later I'll go back and change the drum track, so it's like all of it is original, but it was originally ripped from somewhere or some artist. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll do this a lot in my phone. I will like, I'll write, if I'm really into a specific song, it'll be like, write a song like, Nikes by Jeff Rosenstock. And that's all it will be, is just like, write a song like that. And I'll try and capture like the essence of that song in my own way, whether it's like the vibe of the song or like the message the song is trying to put forth. It's like, I don't know. It all comes from inspiration, right? And I think that like is the root of what I try to do with my music too, is I think about this a lot. Why am I making music, right? This could be a whole podcast episode in itself. Why am I wasting my time doing it? Because I'm not interested in playing shows really, like, for a year, which it hurts me to say, almost to the point that I could tear up right now. Is like, it feels almost like I've given up, but I've tried for years to make playing shows happen and work out and have it be good, but it's like I don't have like musical friends that would want to practice enough to play shows with me. I feel like, especially now being so far away from really anyone that could play with me. I mean, my roommate Seth, he's like kind of been learning bass, but it's like I would need way more than just one person, just for like my personal OCD level of wanting to play, you know. If I was just gonna have one person, I would just do it myself, I feel like, because it would just be me with an acoustic guitar, and why would I need anybody else if I was just doing that, you know? Like, I don't see much value. It's either me with just an acoustic guitar or me in a full band, and I don't know nearly enough people for a full band that would practice with me, that believe in my stuff. It's just so hard to do that. So, not to mention on top of that, the added stress of like, I don't do good like on a stage in front of people. Let alone like nobody knowing who the fuck you are. So you're just going out there blind. So I don't know. I would love to get over that fear, but it's like, it's not like that fear is standing in the way. It's just, I don't want to do shows where it's just me and my guitar. It's so corny. I feel like it doesn't pay off. It's so like old school. Like, we're in an age now where, I mean, unless you're playing a show where it's like you and your guitar, like every night of the week at like a new place, then I just don't see it paying off, you know? You play a show, there's a coffee shop right down the street that does open mic nights. Maybe I play a song there. I don't think a single person there would hear me play and then follow me on Instagram or ever listen to me again, you know? I've gone to those open mic nights. I haven't played anything, but I've like watched some of the acts. And dude, it was crazy. I mean, the place would be full and most of the people there were going on stage and then coming off and then like tuning out, right? So one, most of the people there were like there to do the open mic, and two, they didn't give a shit about anyone else being up there. They would be sitting with their friends or on their phone just hanging out, which I mean is maybe what you do at an open mic, but it's like they only cared about themselves getting up there and not about like supporting other people, which I don't know. It just doesn't seem lucrative unless you're doing it a lot. I don't have the time to do it a bunch or the mental energy to get in front of that many people all the time, or it's such a time sink for such little payoff. I feel like if you're wanting to build a fan base, or I guess that's what you call like the people who will listen to your music, right? A fan base, whether they're fans or not, just fans of your music, I guess. But if you're going to do that, I feel like in 2022, you can't just be playing shows, like, at least at the level I'm at. And this is another thing where I just don't really know what to do. Because, like, say I wanted to build a fan base, I think, let me just finish this thought. I can't be playing shows because you need to do stuff online. Like, nobody cares about going to shows unless they're invested in music, and not a lot of people are that invested in music, right? So you have to do like TikTok and YouTube and stuff and gather a following through Instagram, stuff like that, reaching people that way, right? Playing shows means like next to nothing in 2022, I feel like, unless you've like built like the lowest tier of a fan base. I'm not even to that yet. I'm at 0, I would say. But this comes to the question, as I was starting to say before, is like, do I even want a fan base? I don't think so. It's like, why would I? I'm not making this music for anybody. I think I just make it because I think it's cool, and I put it out there because I think it's cool. The act of putting it out there, I think, is cool. Nobody listens to it. I think the only people I care about listening to it are like friends and family. But as long as they listen to it, I think I'm happy. And even then, I get embarrassed when people I know listen to it. So it's like, I like knowing that people have listened to it, but I don't like talking about it, right? So it's like, why do I make it? And we come back to this question I was saying before, is like, why do I make music? It's just fun. It's a project that is like put together and took a lot of effort and a statement on what I was interested in at the time, almost like this, right? So I think that really says a lot about like what I appreciate. It's like I just care about creating media and content and doing it the best I can. And if people like it, then great. If they don't, fine. I like to think I don't care. There is that like ego in me that wants to care, that does care, that wants people like singing my songs back to me. I think that would be so sick, right? But am I gonna feel bad when I'm old if I never got that? I don't think so. I think when I'm old and I look back on what I've done, I think knowing that I created a bunch of albums that I can still be like, this is good. This is some good stuff. Then I'll be happy no matter the end result, right? And same thing with this stuff. It's like with the vlogs, okay. Tangent time. Vlogs, keep it locked in my mind to come back to this because it's like, I don't know how to address this. This is a podcast. I should address an audience of some sort, but at the same time, this is like a video journal diary. So it's like, do I talk addressing myself or addressing an audience? I'll address an audience. So that means like the reason I'm considering this is because I need to give background information on things. I can't just say the vlogs and expect everybody to know what it is. So I've vlogged for over 100 vlogs for 2 years, from 2018 to 2020, right? And it was, I feel like it was all my personality was, I feel like, for all of those 2 years and even for time after that. But it's like stuff like that I'm going to look back on when I'm old and be like, I admire that about my younger self, being able to put out a video a week, each of the episodes that I think are funny and well put together and like lots of great memories that I captured. That's what I'm going to be proud of the most, you know, vlogs, just content like this. I'm hoping that this will build into something like that. So I guess this whole episode is probably just like prefacing like an introduction for what I want the rest of these episodes to kind of be like, or like what I want this podcast to be for me. It won't be like this every time. I'll talk about something else in the next episode, but I think it'll be like more of a cohesive topic and thought process, because this is just kind of scattered everywhere. This is like why I'm doing this, what this is going to be, blah, blah, blah. First episodes are so weird, and I've never done a podcast before. Well, I kind of have. The Titanic is Sinking 6-series limited podcast with Seth Gibbons, my roommate. We did a podcast about the Titanic, and we did I think it was 5 or 6 episodes, and we watched the Titanic sink in real time and talked over it. And yeah, anyway, that was that. I mean, it's a 6-episode podcast. That's not much, but there's like bound to be a learning curve with this. So this episode, I'm hoping, will be one of the shittiest. So if it is shitty, just hold on to the hope that I will get better with this. Hopefully this will get better. Even the second one will be twice as good, I'm hoping. Probably not, but we'll see. How long has it even been? This is another thing I need to do, is like set a timer so I know when to stop. Okay, I could probably go for a little bit longer. Was it been like 40 minutes? Setting a timer. And this is another thing I wanted to do. I don't know, because I've been thinking about this all day. I've had this like set up ready to go, like with the light and the mic here. I've had it set up for like days, and I've just been like, when am I going to do this? When am I going to do this? It's so hard to do because I know this first episode is going to suck, but it's like, you got to get it out of the way. You just got to do it. And then once you start doing it, you tweak things, you edit it, you repair it, and you form it into something that's actually presentable. So, but what I've been thinking about is, like, maybe at some point setting up like behind me somewhere, maybe get rid of the light at some point. I don't know, maybe it looks cool. I don't know, it's very orange, so it might be off-putting, but I'd rather have this light than just my room light, and then you can just see me sitting in a room. This looks more professional, I feel like. This could look so stupid and I just don't even realize it. But anyway, when I get more things put together, I guess I want to have like a timer going on behind me or something. Maybe that would be cool, and I could constantly see like how long it's been. Just fun stuff. Maybe like a shelf behind me with stuff on it. I don't know. These are just things I've been brainstorming today. But yeah, so I guess this is going to be everywhere. But to come back to this point with being inspired by Cody Co., what compelled me the most to do this was the newest episode. I think it just came back after like several years this week, right? So what he did for his comeback, his first video back, was, oh, hold on, got a burp. What he did for his first video back, or his first podcast back, was he had his fiance on there with him, and they watched videos from that old podcast where he is like referencing meeting her and like having a crush on this girl, which is her, and this like famous night from when they first met. Well, not when they first met, sorry, when they first had their like, it was like a taco night, and you just like, I don't know, you just hear him talking about like he's got this crush on this girl, and she's the reason he's having this taco night, but he doesn't really want to do it, and blah blah blah. And then it cuts to real time, and she's saying like, yeah, you know, when I heard that you said you had a crush on me, I was just like screaming in my car going down the road because I had such a huge crush on you. And it's like, wow, the stuff like that when people like get video of like a monumental moment or catch such a pivotal moment in their lives like that, like his fiance, he caught him, he caught the moment where he was, I mean, it was like their relationship was like a seed, like a seedling, right? And I mean, unbeknownst to him, it was going to develop into them getting engaged in modern day, right? And one day married. But he had no idea that was going to happen, right? I don't think he even knew that she liked him back. And it's just the stuff like that I love. And you know, maybe that is kind of the reason why I want to do a podcast and why I like journaling, is because you can capture these things that in your ordinary everyday life, it seems so minute and like it's just like an everyday thing. But it's like, oh, wait, actually, if it wasn't for that one moment, my life would be so different right now. It's like that's happened to everybody, right? We all have that moment where we look back and it's like, oh, man, if I hadn't sat beside you in that one class and just so happened to like drop my pencil and you picked it up for me and we started talking, then we would not be getting married or we wouldn't be best friends. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm hoping to capture a lot of moments like that here. Who knows what it'll be? Hopefully it's good things. Hopefully it's not bad, traumatic stuff. Like, I don't even know why I'm bringing this shit up. But it's like, what if I was developing cancer or something? This is another thing. I have medical anxiety, and so of course my brain is going here thinking, yeah, hey, what if I capture me like developing leukemia or something, and I get that, and this first episode is me healthy, and then as it goes on, you just see me progressively wither away and die. It's like giving me chills right now thinking about like, oh man, what if that actually does happen? Oh, fingers crossed, knock on fucking wood, hoping that shit doesn't happen. But I mean, if it did happen, this would be pretty cool, right? You'd get to see the whole, and this would, me talking about this would be eerily like foreshadowing, eerily telling of future. You know what I mean. But I think I'm gonna call it there. I think that's everything that I wanted to say in the first episode. Okay, that shit's gonna get annoying after a while, but what inspired me? Why I'm doing this? I forget what I was even saying. Just all the introductory stuff. It's out of the way now. Second episode is going to be about something more fun. Hopefully I don't talk about me dying too much. But that's just a place my mind goes to a lot. And I'll inevitably have to do an episode about that. Talking about, hey, maybe that'll be my next episode or something. No, that's too dark. About like started getting like a bunch of panic attacks last year, and that's got to be like an episode or two. We'll figure that out though. Definitely can't be the second episode. Second episode's got to be something super tame, right? We'll figure it out when we get there. I'm trying really hard to keep in mind. Talk. It's like, okay, this is one more thing before I go. With my music, it's like I have to make it as if there was a large audience, right? To keep it to this level of quality that I want it to be at. So I'm having to do the same with this. So even though there's nobody watching this, I need to act like there are. Fake it till you make it. just to be a level of quality that I want, I need to act like there's people watching this. So follow me on Instagram at It's the Ty Show, all together, one word. My YouTube is Tyler Spencer Vlogs. That's where the vlogs are. Gonna do an update vlog at some point because it's been like 2 years since I stopped. So I want to have one big episode where like I show what's happened since it ended. Gonna do some episodes talking about, or gonna do some episodes of the podcast talking about the vlogs at some point. So if you're ever interested, it's the Ty, or sorry, it's the Ty Show for my Instagram, Tyler Spencer Vlogs on YouTube. If there's a place to link them, I will. Which actually, glad I'm doing video here. This will probably be on YouTube, so I'll link. Yeah, okay. I'll link to my other channel. I'll link to the podcast. I'll link to my Instagram. I'll link to it all, okay? Follow me if you want, and I'll catch you next week. I don't know what day I'm gonna upload this stuff on. Let's just say, I don't know. Whatever day it's up now, I'm sure in the coming weeks I'll figure that out. Anyway, talk to you guys later. See you in the next one. Wiretap forever.